Hello everyone and welcome back to the Brightworks and another match of Beyond All Reason, where today we're taking a look at a very high level game that was recently played on Supreme Isthmus. Usually when I try to cover this map, I try to at least make it a little bit spicy. So today we're going to be seeing some top-notch players going head to head on everybody's favorite, probably most common of all time map. So today, spawning as the red team leader is an Armada commander right up here on the very front lines, and I do love to see it. I always like to point it out when there's a top player, right? The top dog, the red or blue commander is playing on the fronts. It's good to see, right? It's gonna be Teener. Teener coming in at 43 open skill. My goodness. Tied actually with Kaboom, the yellow commander, who is also spawning on the front line here, by the way. This is going to be some firepower on the front line for the red team. The blue team needs to be prepared for this, and it certainly doesn't look like they are. They have Dad the Speedrunner and Ripsy. Two very skilled players, certainly. 31 open skill and 24 open skill. Nothing to scoff at there, but going up against the very best of the best on the red team, they're going to have their work cut out for them. Spawning on the other side, though, as the blue team leader, the Cortex commander that goes by the name of K-Corp. K-Corp hailing at 49 open skill, so a little bit higher than the top brass for the red team, but still well into that, what I would consider professional level league, right? Once you're up above the 40 open skill, yeah, you're getting into that professional territory, right? The pros territory. Now, what are the general strategies we're going to go for on Supreme Isthmus? I feel like I don't owe this map as much of an explanation as I do most other maps because, well, just about everybody is familiar with it. But I suppose we may as well take a look around and see what other people are going for. It looks like a little bit of boosting in the early game here from Good Player Sion, gosh, what is it? The hot pink commander. If we look to be wrecking front early, commit to it though, please. I believe what we're talking about committing to is the wind turbines here. So you can see 4 wind turbines apiece handed over to the 2 commanders on the front line. What that means, of course, is we can spam out units early. Wow. Okay, so this is a cheeky strategy. Going for centurions off the bat. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Centurion's very slow, obviously. Not going to be very good for assaulting the enemy team, right? They're not going to make it across the map before defenses or commanders can move forward, but what they do offer is an absurd amount of sturdiness on the front line here. They're perfect for cleaning up grunts. It means that if the opponent should go for a grunt spam, just a couple of Centurion can shut down a mountain of grunts. Also perfect for dealing with ticks here. They are essentially walking LLTs. Oh, the crab gets dismantled. Laser beamed to a fine red mist. Centurion's also great for guarding these res bots over here. Yeah, this is a really, really nice play. Interesting. May have to steal this one for myself here from Kaboom, because this is really cool to see. Teener now stepping forward, using that commander as essentially a walking LLT platform here as well, just trying to clean up some of these ticks. One of them will get by, but the other will be cleaned up quite nicely. Now the blitzes are pulled back because of it. Centurion's still in the front lines, ready to engage. Now, Centurions technically can beat commanders. Technically speaking, they have enough range to go up against commanders here. You can see Ripsy. I mean, obviously, the commander losing health, I guess is what I'm trying to say, is more important than the Centurion losing health. And, of course, the Centurions are going to gain quite a lot of experience from blasting away commanders. Hey, nice pull on the Resbots there. Resbots used to repair part of this Centurion's HP pool, keeping it nice and healthy so that they can keep battling away on the front line. Wow. This is the kind of stuff that I live for. This is what the top of the Beyond All Reason ladder pool looks like. These plays are so beautiful and nuanced, and I love to see it. Ripsy now taking a bunch of damage as the blitzes sneak through and look to do some aggression here. Committing to the push here as they get us around on the LLT, of course, means that there's no more defenses in the backline here for the Seafoam Green Commander. What a nightmare. Centurion now blasting forward. There we go. Ripsy down to 50% HP and falling rapidly. The Centurion's more than happy to blast down that commander's HP pool. And he turns around and catches one of them with the D-gun. It's a very delicate dance between the Centurion and the commander for the D-gun. Ooh, a 10% HP though. Yeah, he wants it. Kaboom wants the commander there, but I don't think he's going to get it. Blitzes, though, have already ravaged the backline. My goodness. What a really, really beautiful play here. Showing us some beautiful Armada gameplay. One of those things that Armada struggled to counter for the longest time was that early grunt spam. It seems like this is a devastating way to play it, though. You, instead of going for grunt, spam out Centurion. Well, a lot heavier, a lot more costly, but if you have the wind turbine boost from your teammate, yeah, you actually end up with a really, really wonderful situation here. A Hovercraft lab has been built. Oh, I see. Hovercraft lab going to be used to assault the naval player over here. Okay, I don't mind it. Yeah, if we're going to be going into Hovercraft, we're going to be slowing our economy down in the backline here anyways, boosting the teammates, right? We may as well go for some cheeky strategies, so sure, why not go for a Hovercraft lab? If you can manage to find some damage, all the better. And indeed, shutting down that constructor ship is quite nice. We could actually go across and kill this boat over here. I think it's a little bit of a misread right now from Good Play Sion. this build refined just a step further, and we might see these go across the map and do a bunch of damage. We do have a run by going, or a float by going on in the northern side. As it looks like a commander died somewhere as well. I saw the explosion. Not sure where exactly. Anyways, we are 7-6 at this point. Oh, I think it was a sacrifice commander for a build. Speaking of hovercraft, there are tons of them running by in the backline here, harassing the orange commander, Rory. The, Orange Armada hero right here, hailing at 35 open skill from the great land of Canada. Going to be... Going to be, well, trying to clean all this up. Having a really hard time, though. Hovercraft have slightly more durability than the vehicles in terms of their little scout craft here, so you can see those Seekers actually stay alive quite long. Rover's eventually going to clean them up, but yeah, certainly trouble. Ooh, overshot from the destroyer there as well. Rory struggling to hold this line right now as the harassment has been multifaceted. Gunslinger on the front line, okay. Well, that's a very, very rapid gunslinger here. We do have a nicely refined build coming out from the green commander, getting that gunslinger out to the field very quickly. Maybe it was produced from the backline, though. We do have a T2 lab back there as well. Gunslinger going to be perfect for dealing with these tanks over here. Also going to be wonderful if it can get a couple of shots off on the commander, because that levels up the gunslingers rapidly. I don't know the exact number. I'm not sure exactly how many extra experience points the gunslinger gets per engagement, but it does get slightly more than most other units here. Oh, even a little bit of repair on the gunslinger. It doesn't really need it, because of course it has that bioplasteel skin that can repair itself, regenerate automatically. But every bit helps. Tina here going to recover quite a bit slower than the gunslinger will. This is the perfect use case for a gunslinger. Oftentimes people ask where the gunslinger fits into the modern meta, how you're supposed to go about using gunslingers. This is exactly the right situation for it. When you get a gunslinger out on the front line early, it can be basically enough on its own to shut down T1 pushes, just because of the fact that it has so much impulse that it can stun a lot of these units and essentially deny them any kind of push, right? They have to get caught, and then they get jumped on, and then they get singled out, and you end up taking really inefficient trades. Especially the lighter units, the T1 units. The heavier T1 units that are still relatively light, at least compared to the T2 stage. Does that make any sense? I hope it does. Some walls going to be thrown up here by Teener, trying to protect themselves and, more importantly, their metal extractors from the barrage of naval units out here on the high seas. The brown commander marching forward or sailing forward with a destroyer, though, to go and engage the submarine that's been included right here in the blue composition. Manages to blast down a frigate, so that's quite nice, but losing the submarine for a frigate, it's definitely costly. Yeah, submarine's costing 580 versus the frigate's 420. Certainly feels quite tricky. Gunslinger has gone down on the front lines here, meaning that a large portion of the firepower available for Ripsy has been negated. Tank ball being dived forward and then pulled back here. It's nicely done, making sure to constantly find some value out of those units. When behind like this, it's incredibly important that you find the value. I mean, this is the red team finding the value, right? So when ahead, get more ahead. But it's what I would like to see out of the blue team. It's one of the reasons why it's such a bummer that the gunslinger went down right there. There we go. Another gunslinger about to hit the fields here. Again, I don't mind the gunslinger, but it is definitely a little bit slower. It also has to get a little bit closer, at least initially, before it gets much experience. It has to get way closer to these units than, say, something like a Hound would. So it does a lot more damage, and it certainly has a lot of versatility as sort of a stalling unit. But is it more effective than a Hound? I'm not entirely sure. Ripsy's commander going for a D-gun here, very low on energy, so it doesn't actually have enough for a second one. And the red tanks have broken the line. Headed towards the back line, a lightning turret has just come up here. Will it be enough to hold the defenses? I'm not so sure. With the coupling of that LLT, though, and a little bit of flanking damage, it does look like it will be enough. Just barely to blast down those medium tanks before they manage to do too much more damage off into the side. Meanwhile, K-Corp wandering forward right here. Yeah, nice control right here from, oh gosh, 7x11 Easy Win. We'll just call you Easy Win for the rest of this one. Making it hard on me here. Tsar out on the front now. Good old-fashioned Tsar rush. Same old that we've seen for quite a while here, but certainly a lot further forward than we usually see it. Usually the Tsar comes out and you use it to hold your line or maybe push forward ever so slightly. The Tsar here being used essentially as offense. Very cool to see. The Navy over here is actually doing a great job. This is a neat little detail, but RTS Major is doing a great job of blasting down these metal extractors, making sure that the yellow commander can't maintain those for very long. Shutting those down seems like a trivial detail there, but it does deny hundreds, if not thousands, of metal to the yellow economy. It means that their eco scaling is going to be a little bit slower. It means that their overall climb is going to be slower, and it ultimately slows down the entire push on the front line. It helps negate some of the speed right here. The rocket hovercraft harassing the geothermal plant over here. That's quite strange. Random rocket hovercraft has managed to make its way into the back line and is being quite a pest. Okay. Gunslinger versus Tsar. Now there's a matchup. Don't know that I've ever seen a gunslinger go up against the Tsar. Looks like the Tsar is going to be more than sufficient, though. Well, those Janus missiles contributing a lot as well. And yeah, just like that, the front line has been knocked down quite sufficiently. Janus wasting their firepower there a little bit. Hard to compete with the Tsar, though, who can fire those plasma blasts quite quickly. And, of course, they do a unbelievable sum of damage. I see a sharpshooter in a transport plane. Oh, I see. We're going to park a sharpshooter up on the hill. Well, wasn't that a lovely idea? Yeah, you put a sharpshooter up there. That way it can fire down at these units, but not necessarily they can fire back up. Huh. I like it. I think that's an interesting way to... interesting way to reinforce that front line. Ripsy here in a little bit of trouble. Yeah, Commander hiding behind this crevasse over here on the side. There we go. Sharpshooter, yeah, in position. There we go. It can blast away at that Tsar. Oh, Janus missiles. The sharpshooter does have to be a little bit careful up there, but I really like it. I think that's such a novel idea. Yeah, hide a bunch of sharpshooters up there. Why not? Meanwhile, nuclear bomber ravaging the naval forces over here of the powder blue commander. Going in for more and more connections wherever it can, but it is getting a little low on HP, so I wouldn't be surprised to see this bad boy pulled back and sent to go repair itself, or go get repaired by a couple of repair turrets, or maybe even an air repair pad. Hardly anybody builds those at the highest level. They're a massive investment for very little. I think one way that we could see those change to maybe make them a little more incentivized, but also balanced out a little bit better. Something like repairing or removing the ability for them to repair 4 units at once, and instead make it just 1 unit at once, but significantly reduce the cost. There's hardly any reason you'd need to repair 4 aircraft at once, because your fighters are going to die in one shot, and essentially the only units that aren't are going to be dragons and nuclear bombers. The lone hound here. I appreciate that reinforcements are now coming out of the T2 labs from the backline here. There's a couple of shuriken. Okay, nicely done. The blue team is responding here. Like, this isn't going unresponded to, but already so much damage has been done. And you can see the economic lead is just ever so slight here, but it does make a world of a difference over time. Of course, that reclaim can be very valuable as well. Teener doing a massive job of claiming all these mexes over here, actually claiming the enemy mexes. I'm not sure if those were claimed in time to repair for themselves. That one certainly wasn't. Really, I feel like this is the mechs that we needed to have reclaimed and never actually ended up managing to. Sharpshooter on the hills here. That's so funny. I love this move. I want to see more of this. I want to see more cheeky moves like that, where put random units on random spots and see how well they can manage to do there. There we go. Sharpshooter clicking away at the red commander actually manages to blast it down. My goodness, dare I say that this looks like a comeback here? The T2 production has rolled out en masse right now, where it looks like the red team was more focused on just committing to T1 production. Yeah, we're still getting T2 labs up and running on the front line right here. All that metal was spent pushing into this line, but we didn't actually double down on the investments to get T2 up. No T2 here for the hot pink commander either, who was just trying to stay alive on the front lines there. This actually doesn't look so good for the red team. Yeah, you know what? As nice as the economic advantage was by denying some of these metal extractors here, what does it matter if there's 3 times as many T2 metal extractors in the backline of the blue team, cranking out metal left, right, and center? Nuclear bomber gets the underwater snipe on the commander right there. I guess you drop a big enough bomb and it's not going to matter whether it's a torpedo or not. It just manages to ripple all the way down through the waves and into the depths of the ocean, taking out RTS Major's commander under the sea there. The commander, not the pinnacle of naval warfare here, not necessarily going to be the life or death of whether the Navy's win or lose there, but certainly taking it off the field is quite nice because it's essentially a massive underwater nuclear bomb. And trudging around your boats while nuclear bombs are in the presence, certainly a little uncomfortable here. Mass submarine, an interesting choice right now from K-Corp. I suppose if you have enough metal to do it, then you may as well. We do have a T2 vehicle lab up and running here. An interesting pivot, but a necessary one, of course. Forced to essentially make the front line happen. Oh my goodness. All these T2 units that were used to clean up that frontline assault right there from the red and yellow commanders, now more than happy to just come across the map and start obliterating these bases. Bases never got up to T2. For whatever reason, we had 2 T1 labs right now. T2 mexes never came up in a speedy manner either, and just like that, the Welder Hound composition blasts through these defenses with little trouble. Janus is doing more friendly fire than anything at this point. What a stellar comeback right there. Pushing all the way forward and taking out every single one of these mexes. GL going forward and claiming these mexes too. I'd love to see it. I would love to see more of it. Ripsy setting up another lab over here. Nicely done. One of the things that I love about watching some of the better players play, sometimes they give up really easily, but when they stick it out, you can see, I mean, nobody has tapped out of this game yet. We're certainly in a lower level lobby, you can imagine. Already players would have been dropping. Yeah. Losing your base once or twice, very, very common in this higher level match, so it's good to see these commanders sticking it out. Quite a few pings from Kabloom here, trying desperately to alert his team to something they're all extremely aware of. Let's just keep pinging, I suppose. The yellow commander more than happy to keep spamming their team. We'll just go ahead and hit the mute button for a second while I tell you about why spamming is such a nuisance. I know this sudden thrust into muted mode is a little jaunting, but suffice it to say that spamming your team with pings like this, about the rudest thing you can do. This is a phenomenon that I often call APM overflow. It's when your base gets destroyed and suddenly you have nothing better to do. It's one of two things. You either start spamming into the chat, or you start spamming pings like an absolute madman. Definitely love to let people tattletale on themselves here by just showcasing it. But this is ridiculous. This is the kind of thing that you can absolutely, at the very least, I would absolutely ban someone over. If you did this in one of my games, one of my lobbies that we do host every Tuesday and Saturday, 12 to 4 PDT, humble shell right there, I would kick you out of the lobby and you would never return. Looks like the tantrum is over though, so we'll go ahead and re-engage sound here. There we go. Hopefully things have dialed down a little bit. Yeah, Kabloom definitely very heated at this point. The red commander not willing to put up with that BS either here after getting the entire base destroyed, and the red team unwilling to. Yeah, I mean, what a morale victory right here for the blue team. Bases were ravaged, forces were destroyed, but managed to rally, managed to put together a strong face, and managed to recuperate from the loss and push all the way into the enemy side here. T2 forces now rolling out of the backline. Should be enough to clear up most of those medium tanks, but the T2 lightning tank's going to certainly be a problem. And T2 fighters managed to catch the bomber there as well. Oh, Banisher missile connects with a bunch of those fighters. Very, very nicely done. Resign vote here from Kabloom as well. What a nightmarish player to play with. So unfortunate. It's just one of those things, right? You play 8v8 games, you know, it's in a 1v1 game, it's only a 50% chance that there's a toxic person on the team, right? Assuming you're not the toxic one, as always. In an 8v8 game, the odds are quite a bit higher, though. Sometimes it's best to just put the game down, go take a break, go outside, maybe have a fresh meal. Sometimes it's all you can do. Hot pink forces here have been built up in mass. They need to get some aggression done. I think GL, well, I like the GL's waiting over here. Maybe trying to get a D-gun. Oh, we might be set up for a beautiful D-gun right here. Oh, tell me the purple commander sees it. Oh, okay, he goes for the comsack. Oh, there's the D-gun. Hey, nice D-gun connects with about, gosh, nearly 1,000 metal worth of hounds right there. That was about 6 hounds he blasted away in a single D-gun. Caught a few more in the follow-up right there, eviscerating that massive army of hounds right there. That army of hounds probably could have broken this front line. It's all still T1. There is a spam of ticks coming out, though. That's very, very annoying to deal with. Definitely an excellent opportunity for if your base is knocked out and you need a way to rebuild back into the game and you're not sure how to contribute to your team's efforts on the front lines. Bombing run over here, by the way. Looks like we took out some advanced metal extractors. Not really any super juicy targets over here, though. They're going to go ahead and target down some wind turbines. Oh no, we're headed for the kill shot. Okay. Going for the fusion reactors in the backline. What I was trying to say there, though, before this bombing run, this beautiful bombing run came across the map, is that if you're looking for a way to get back into the game and help your team out, spamming out T1 units usually useful in some capacity or another. Wow. These bombers finding immense value in the backline, taking out the air players' fusion reactors, denying any chance of them ever getting back into the air here, at least not anytime soon. We do have a couple of construction turrets up and running, but there's no reason these bombers couldn't finish the job. But it looks like they're more concerned with going ahead and taking down the hot pink commander over here as well. Popping the E-converters is dangerous, it's devastating. Losing all that energy conversion means the metal economy of the pink commander collapses, and so too does the rest of their team. The Resign goes through, and it'll be the blue team in a stunning turnaround game right there. Their T2 tech came online, and they managed to rally, push for the win, and end up seizing it. What a beautiful game of Beyond All Reason. Thanks a ton for watching, and I sure hope you enjoyed this little bit of salt mining. Yeah, that was very, very good. I'll see you in the very next one, folks, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Peace out.